Hi, my name is Teresa Kovlak, and today I will be showing you how I made this cute little church. So first thing you're going to need is some alcohol inks, and these are made by Ranger, and I'll be using a variety of colors, so I will leave those in the description down below. The other thing I will be using is some 99% in my little bowl, and you'll need a ornament. So this one is porcelain, and I was able to pick this up at Factory Direct Craft. So let's go ahead and get started here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give my ornament just a little splash of color. And I just don't want to splash my other ornament here because it hasn't been sealed yet. So I'm protecting it with my hand. And drop another touch of pink in there. So I'm going to just move this aside for just a moment while I'm doing this. So I like to splash on a little alcohol. And this is going to be for my background. I just kind of want to make it like the sun is going down. And that's why I added in the little pinks, which also gives it purple when it mixes with the blue. And just take my fan brush and kind of pull it over. And you won't see all of this, you're just mostly going to see that top area. I'm going to add just a little more of that Aqua in there. Oops. And I'm going to go ahead and tip it down on its side. And I'm going to dry this off real quick with the heat gun. All right, we can put that back over there. So what we're going to do next is we're going to draw in our church, and we're just going to take a Q-tip. We're going to leave the whole Q-tip together, dipped it into some alcohol, just gave it a little spin in my fingers just to have that cotton nice and tight. And I'm just going to figure out where I want my roof line of my church. And I'm going to go about right there. I'm going to just bring my roof down. And I don't worry about cleaning out all the ink because the ink is actually going to help me make my snow. And the roof will come down. And then I put another little structure on. And my wall's coming down. And another wall. This will be where my doorway is. And my steps coming down. And this church might be a little bit wider, but that's okay. And I'm just going to wipe some of that ink out to create my wall. My roof. And it kind of ends right there, so that would be like the end of it. I'm just wiping down my wall. I'm going to grab my paintbrush. And I'm just going to make some of that snow on the roof. And to make the snow, I'm just using the ink that's up there. Coming in with a little bit of alcohol, rubbing it down. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my windows real quick. I always keep my black in a separate container. This is the pitch black. Touch on my paper towel, make sure I don't have too much ink. Just drawing the windows in. We'll put a window in the front here. And then we'll go ahead and draw the door. Put that about right here. And our steps coming down. Pick up a little more of that ink. And this church is definitely a little bit bigger, but that's okay. You can make yours bigger or smaller. It's your church. Got a little too much alcohol on my brush, so in turn my ink wants to run away. I'm going to just kind of blur that out because that's going to end up turning into snow anyways. All right. Now, if I want to give a little color into the windows, I'm just going to put a little bit of that yellow. That way it looks like the lights are turned on. Bring this window in a little bit more. And then I need a steeple or a bell tower up on top. So we're going to put that right about here. I have it come down a little bit on that roof. And it would go to the other side. Put our cross in right away. If you want, you can put your cross in later. You don't have to do it right away. Just make that kind of like it has a little texture to it. Maybe it's made out of wood. And then we're going to take and pull some of that color over so it looks like the snow is dangling down. And make sure I wipe off my brush real good so I don't have too much ink on. Just so the snow is kind of drooping down. And then I had a little too much ink on my brush, no big deal. Just kind of put the walls on. And maybe I'll bring a tiny bit of that blue in, which is Aqua. Just so it gives some reflections from the snow. Be a beautiful winter day. And this here is supposed to be another roof line right here. So I think I'm going to add a little more color in there, a little more of that aqua. Just because when you're making your snow, you really need that ink to help you make your snow. Just kind of drooping it over like it was a super snowy day. I'm going to clean out a little bit of my door here. Make sure I wipe that alcohol down so I don't have too much on my brush. I think I want my door nice and white so that my reef shows up real nice. You know what else would be nice? I didn't do it on the other painting, but I might do it on this one. I think it'd be kind of nice to have just an archway above it. That's the neat thing when you're painting, you just kind of have different things come to you. And I think we'll go ahead and put some yellow up in there, just so we see the reflection of the light from inside. Yeah, I like that. Glad I did that. That's the fun thing about these inks. You can sit here and play, and if you don't like it, wipe it out. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up some green. And to do my reef, I'm just blotching it. There we go. Now, my steps I do not like, so I'm going to redo them. I'm just going to take a Q-tip and I'm going to pull them out. And then I can put them back in. So just wipe them out. Dry down your Q-tip a little because you don't want to run away with it. All right, and we're going to come in and grab a little bit of that black. And we'll put our first step in. Remember, the snow is on your steps, so they don't have to be perfect. All right. We'll kind of put in some snow on the side here. Grab a little bit longer brush. I'm just kind of rubbing it in just to get that snow kind of piled up around the church. Grab a little bit of that Aqua. It's a really pretty blue. And just kind of put those snow piles in. And we could even grab a little Aqua and put it up on the roof just to give it a little more color. I'm not doing all of it, just kind of put it a little bit here and a little bit there. Maybe define the roof line a little bit better. Maybe bring in a touch of black. Just like it's the shadow underneath the overhang. There we go. And maybe we'll put a tiny bit of that black here too. Kind of like bring this down a little bit. There we go. All right, and then fix our snow a little bit there. My windows are a little thicker than what I'd like them, but they're all right. And we'll go ahead and put a little bit of that Aqua on the stairway. Just help that snow a little. There we go. And let's go ahead and put in our trees now. So I'm using two different greens. I'm using the bottle and I'm using Meadow. Now I will have all the colors listed below. I find having two colors for your trees works a little bit better. So if you don't have those two colors, maybe you have two other greens that you could use. And I'm just kind of figuring out about where I want my trees. You're not really going to see the ones in the background. You're going to see the ones that are in the front, but I am going to put a few in the back. And these don't have to be perfect. They're going to be in the background, so just kind of bringing my branches over. Make your branches nice and big so the critters can hide under them. And we'll go ahead and do the other tree. We're just bringing our branches out. Then we're going to add our snow to them. So again, they don't have to be perfect. And we'll go ahead and start putting our snow on. To put our snow on, we're going to take our brush, dip it into our alcohol, and pull some of that ink out. Just like that snow is sitting on top of those branches. And I do wipe down on my paper towel when I pull the ink out. If I need to, I'll come back in with a little more green. Just have it like that snow is clumped up on there, had a good old snowstorm. I'm just pulling that ink out. Got a little black on that one from my paper towel. And just pull it out. If I need to, I'll come back, grab a little green. Put a little green in. There we go. Put some snow on our other branches. So if we have a lot of snow on our church, we should have a lot of snow on our tree. So you kind of got to look at it that way. I'm going to straighten that window right there where I see it. There we go. It's funny, you'll see something, forget about it. Do it right away if you see it. And that way you won't forget. So I'm going to come in and grab just a little more of that green. I'm going to go back with a little bit of green there. Just to get a little more snow than I want it. So it's up to you, it's your painting. You want a lot more snow, you do a lot more snow. Liking those trees. They're not quite as thick as the other ones that I did, but that's okay. They don't all have to be the same. So I'm just pulling out on top of where I already made the snow, just making it a little bit whiter. Maybe a little different shape. I like that. Now we should add ourselves a little bunny. So if you have a brown, that works great. I like the rust color. That's kind of a cool color for a bunny. There's also teak that works real good. So I'm just going to kind of make them a little thick around the bottom. When I say thick, he's going to be a pudgy bunny. And then I'm going to put his little head right here. Like he's kind of sitting up. Trying to see what's going on in the church. And then we'll put his little tail on. To put his little tail on, you're just going to take some of that ink out. And give him a little tail. There we go. The other thing I like to add is a little cardinal. Before I add that, I kind of want to fix my snow just a little bit here. Just like the snow is kind of blowing into the steps. And then I'm going to come over here and grab some crimson. If you don't have the crimson color, then you could use watermelon, chili pepper. Those all work great too. And we'll just kind of put him in about right here. Need a little bit of orange. So if you don't have the orange, you could use red instead. Come over here and grab some orange. I only want a tiny bit, but I want it good and thick so it doesn't run. My bird is now turning orange because I had too much ink on. So no problem, grab some of that red, come right over top. And then we need to put a little black in by his face. So I'm going to grab onto some black. Wipe the extra on my paper towel. And then while we're here, we're going to put a little shadow. And a little shadow for our bunny. Alright. So I'm just going to glance at the snow on my church. Make sure that I'm happy with that. Just clean up my lines a little bit. And I'll bring a little more aqua into the side wall. I don't want too much, so I wipe some off on the paper towel. And just kind of push that snow up like it was a super snowy night. Well, tell me what you think in the description below. If you'd like to see more of my work, please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And that lets me know you'd like to see more. And subscribe if you haven't. That's all I need from you to keep doing videos. I'm going to add a couple just little like red berries, or maybe make this a little bow right here. Kind of like that. So it's your painting, you can do whatever you like with it. So again, my name is Teresa Kovlak. Thank you again for joining me. You can see more of my work on Facebook or Instagram. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy painting.